Those are all of the people who hurt you, harmed you, maimed you, screwed over you, didn't see your worth, didn't see your potential. Scorpio is back as the last person carrying the torch.
Watch them grow, perceive, devote. This is the seed, light the show. Watch them grow.
Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your November 2019 general reading. I'm Princess India. If you're new, if you're family, welcome back, my friend. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot or whatever. For the 99 and 2000. Ha! You knew we were going to do it. You guys love it, so I'm going to keep doing it. I'm really going to keep doing it because I love doing it. But anyway, welcome to your reading, Scorpio. So, if you are not familiar with how I do my general readings, I start with picking 3 cards. So it's a pick card. You can pick card 1, 2, or 3. You know what I'm saying? But the purpose of me doing this is because we use these 3 cards to separate into 3 different groups for the extended reading. So in the event after watching this general, because the videos on YouTube are general, you know what I'm saying? If you feel like you need something a little bit more specific based on your group, you can follow me on over to Vimeo and listen for your group, my friend. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, while I'm shuffling these cards, I'm going to tell you guys about what it is that I got for you intuitively, Scorpio. And in true Scorpio fashion, reading for Scorpios and their birthday season, I should have known it was going to get weird. And Scorpio, it got weird. You know what I'm saying? Not like weird, but it was weird. So what I saw was a person on their deathbed. Now, mind you, this is symbolic, so no one's going to die, you know. I mean, unless we're talking about transformation here, but it's neither here nor there. So I saw a person on their deathbed, and like a person giving them permission to let go. Well, okay, so we are talking about transformation. I stand corrected. Thank you, Spirit, for, you know, making me look like that in front of my friends. But anyway, so yeah, so it's like a person, like, you know, when a person is like on their deathbed, they're dying, and they may be like, you know, trying to hold on for friends and family members, and, you know, a wife or husband or child or something like that tells them, like, you know, it's okay, you can let go, and the person will pass, right? That's what I walked in on. It's weird. But the next thing that I saw was a vision I've had before that I wrote about in my book. So on the fly, we're going to put these together. So it's more or less, first portion of it is you guys are being given permission to transition, which AKA would be transformation. So in so many words, it's like Scorpio is trying to hold on, and this is very similar to what we talked about in October, because the whole theme for October for Scorpio was very heavily about metamorphosis and change and, you know, butterfly and all this other kind of good stuff, right? See, y'all gave me something pretty when it wasn't y'all season, now it is death. Anyway, neither here nor there. But anyway, so you guys were talking about transformation. So the whole thing is everything in life in general is a process. And death itself is also a process as well. You know what I mean? Like the process of, you know, death and dying and all that good stuff. So what I'm seeing with that is more or less Scorpio is still in your, we could even say chrysalis stage if we want to piggyback off of last month. But you guys are still in this transition state. You're in the very last stage of it. But it's more or less, this is spirit giving you permission to fully transform, in so many words, or fully transition. Because I feel, and this is where the second part kind of comes in, because I wrote about this vision in my book, Motherfuck Twin Flames. If you read it, it's not available anymore, by the way. I took it down because I'm putting out the updated version. But anyway, just in case somebody went looking for it. But the whole thing with this is, like, the purpose of where this kind of ties into the other thing is in the book I talked about this vision I saw about a person refusing to face like past trauma or childhood wounds. And I likened it to being locked in an apartment with no windows and only one door. So there's only one way in and out. And there's a demon sitting, like, and I said, like, the ugliest demon you could fathom, sitting in front of the door, right? So the only way to the other side, because the apartment is symbolic of how our secrets keep us sick, or how fear keeps us incapacitated and trapped. And in order for you to move to the next level, or pairing this with the first vision, transitioning or transforming, one has to face their proverbial demons, right? Or face their fear in whatever capacity that's showing up for you guys this month. But the only way to the next stage in your life is like this final showdown between yourself and said demon slash fear, in so many words. So, I mean, whether that's childhood trauma for y'all or whatever it is, you know, that's more or less what I'm seeing for you guys intuitively this month. Now, I hope you picked your card. 1, 2, or 3. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm about to, you know, so pause it if you haven't picked it yet. Go with the first number that popped in your head. Okay, moving right along. If you pick card number 1, we have Quest. That's one of my favorite cards in this deck that rarely, if ever, comes out. If you pick card number 2, we have Recovery. Ooh, that's a nice card for group 2. That's fascinating. In a therapeutic sense, I've been writing a lot about recovery lately. And if you pick card number 3, we have Soulmate. Now, this is a nice, you know, these are 3 very distinct energies that I'm seeing here. Group 1, I would say, is more life purpose, meaning type of related. Group 2 is more or less leaving the past behind. And then group 3 is more or less aligning with one's truth, in so many words. And this is kind of, well, I would say these 2. The last 2 are very past oriented. 2 and 3. But we'll get into those in the extended. But for now, we're going to go ahead and pull you guys cards. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot, whatever. But yeah, man. So let me move this deck off of my table. But yeah, dude, that's intriguing. So, and if I put all of that together, it seems to me more or less that Spirit is giving Scorpio permission to fully, I'll say with my death reference, to fully die to an old way of being, because, and this is a lot of what we said last month, it's a chapter that's closing, and it's a new way of relating. So I know for the last couple of months, purging has come up a lot in you guys' readings. But I feel like all of that was more or less to empty yourself, to cleanse your proverbial vessel, in so many words, for what you guys are stepping into now. So that's fascinating. And I was writing about, well, not that. It's y'all birthday. I can give you guys nuggets. I was writing about growth earlier. Let me see. Don't tell nobody that I'm sharing extra stuff with y'all. Go watch it anyway. But if you got Scorpio in your chart, it's okay. Anyway, a little bit what I wrote earlier. I said the key to true growth is freedom. Freedom of one's own energy. Freedom from addictions, bad habits, temptations, and limitations. This allows one energy to be unbound and thus in flow with the universe. So if we kind of take that and put that into the context of well, we can go back to the whole passing away thing. It's like if you think of your soul in the essence of being limitless, then in the physical body, we're limited. So, and again, I'm not saying this in a sense of like literal death. I'm saying this in a sense of, you know, the place that you guys are in your life. So if you liken it to that, it's more or less the place, and that is very much like chrysalis stage, because the body in essence would be the proverbial chrysalis. So it's more or less you guys are getting a pat on the booty from the universe of saying that it's okay for you guys to leave this old body chrysalis, whatever was binding you or whatever was keeping you restricted, whether that be in the form of fears or people or false core beliefs or, you know, demons, whatever. It's like you have full permission to leave this behind. Like it's okay to let go, in so many words. Whoa, that's interesting. The Four of Cups fell out as I'm shuffling. This is fascinating. Now, this is interesting. This is why I love the After Tarot so much. Oh my gosh. Here's the thing, dude. We could talk about the Four of Cups being a cup of like rejection. I feel what this is, this fourth cup of how I'm seeing this card that fell out right now. If we're strictly looking at the Three of Cups as a sense of like festivity, celebration, you know, union, marriage, things of the sort, right? It's more or less Scorpio taking the initiative to, because if you look at the Four of Cups and its traditional meaning, which is not necessarily like rejection, but a stagnation, because it's being stuck between two worlds. And it's an inability to see gifts that are coming into one's life. But I feel whatever it, like, if we put this in a sense of you guys being torn in between two things, which is the old life and the new life, this says to me, you guys this month are going to make the decision to dump the cup out that has been the ball and chain that's been keeping you linked to whatever isn't serving you or isn't a part of this new life anymore. So you guys are going to take the initiative to rid yourself of this so that you guys can enter a celebratory energy. I swear I could just leave you reading like that. I'm just saying. But anyway, I'm going to lay cards out for you. I'm not going to do that to y'all. I think that's interesting that fell out. That's rare that happens. Like if a card falls, it usually doesn't fall face up. So that's very fascinating. So anywho, let's go ahead and jump into this. My table over here is not as big as my desk, so we're going to see. All right. So your central energy for November. I hope I said November. We have the Justice card. Oh God, that's not on point. This is challenged by the Two of Cups. Well, hot damn, didn't I say union? Past influence is the Five of Wands, fighting for your life. Above influence is the Knight of Pentacles. Oh, how wonderful. Underlying influence is the Six of Pentacles. I'm just so damn proud of you, Scorpio. Maybe if I turn these sideways, it'll give me more room. And then going forward, I know you lying. I freaking shuffled the deck. Okay. What is happening in America? I literally told you guys how this reading is going to end in the beginning. So if you want to stop watching now, just go ahead. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that freaking card came out again. That is insane. Okay. So, Scorpio, this is really good. I'm not even going to lie to you. On so many levels, this is balanced. Coming into November, so leaving out of October, it's more or less you guys being, okay, I'm going to say it like this. Up until this point, you guys stood your ground or stood for what you believed in theory and concept or, you know, posture. But I don't really feel that there was like a fiery, like badass, like rebel, like you're not gonna tell me what to do, you're not gonna tell me who I am type of energy. And that's the thing that I'm feeling is influencing all of this, because it's almost as if you guys have reached a boiling point in a sense. So it's no longer you like, oh, you know, I'm gonna set healthy boundaries, you know what I'm saying? It's like when someone crosses them, you're like, hey, that's my boundary, you know what I'm saying? Or being passive aggressive about it as well, you know? I feel like what you guys are doing now, it's literally taking full throttle action to where you're going to stand in your power and say, like, this is my boundary. This is where I stand on this. This is how I feel. And that's just it. You know what I mean? No questions asked. You know, there is no negotiations on this stuff. It's like, this is where I'm at with it, right? And I feel like that was like that last little punch that you guys needed to push you over. Now, presently, everything is balancing out. Just like I said, when the Four of Cups fell out the first time, and it's more or less like anything that was leaving you guys in a sense of dissension or whatever had you guys in a place of, you know, should I stay, should I go, any form of stagnation. And how I was saying, like, you guys are making the decision to break that up. And I still very much see that with the Four of Cups going forward. But the thing that I'm seeing is more or less an inner reconciliation that I'm seeing here. For a lot of you, looking at the Justice card, this is more or less, I I would say a major life cycle that's ending. And I think that's probably why it's showing up a lot as like, you know, death, or last month, like with the butterfly, like metamorphosis, transformation. Because if we speak about this in a sense of like numerology, like life cycles, that would probably be the easiest thing that I could compare it to. It's like the first stage of your life is up until you're, I think, 25, if I'm not mistaken. And then I think your next life cycle is like from 25 to like 36 or something like that. I may be quoting those wrong, but it's somewhere within that realm, right? Or even if we're looking at it as like 10-year cycles or what have you. But I feel why it's showing up as like these heavy symbolic concepts is because this is a major life cycle change for you guys. So, I mean, depending on what stage of life you're in, how this could manifest in a 3D sense, whether it's like, you know, you're just graduating. I don't know if I would feel comfortable with 17-year-olds watching my channel, but yeah, whatever. But, you know, whether you're graduating from like high school or college or graduate school, or you just got married, purchased your first home, you know, or, you know, you're retiring or something like that. You're becoming a grandparent, like something along those lines. It's like a major epic life cycle that's ending, and it's beginning something that's entirely new, like an entirely new phase of your life. So that can show up a myriad of different ways. But I feel that the cycle that you guys are leaving out of, the purpose for everything, and this is where I think it's going to help you guys in a reflective sense this month, looking back, it's more or less, if you look back at the last, I don't know, 5-10 years, whatever, how long this cycle has ended for you, you look at all of the tumultuous things or challenging things that you have been through, I think what would behoove you guys this month is more or less looking at all of those challenges from the perspective of, it was intended for me to learn something from this. Like, this cycle owes me something in the form of wisdom and lessons. And I feel that whatever it is you guys have learned up to this point, I think another sweep over of just kind of how things have panned out, I feel like that's going to be very rewarding for you guys as well. Because the underlying influence of all of this with the Six of Pentacles, I'm seeing this again, I just heard power. This is interesting. It's putting you guys in a position of power, not necessarily like, you know, being a manager. I mean, it could, but it's putting you in a sense of power with yourself. And the specific thing that I'm hearing is a scripture, which is being the head, not the tail. So putting this all into context, what it's sounding like for me, and I think I felt a theme like this for Libra, it's more or less, not in the sense of people pleasing so much, but it's in the sense of keeping the peace. I feel like there's been a lot of denial on Scorpio's end. It's a lot of self-denial, a lot of not, like how I said, with this being a ferocious power standing in your truth, it's been a lot of you guys not doing that because it was either appeasing someone else, not wanting to hurt someone's feelings, not wanting to rock the boat in so many words. But all of this is influencing you guys to be in a state of union and balance within yourself, to understand why the way that things have been approached up to this point weren't serving you and how it wasn't behooving you. However, like I said, however that's manifesting for you. And once we gain the clarity on that, right, then it's you guys manifesting this into tangible form. So I feel like in so many words with the Knight of Pentacles and you guys above energy, it's something that y'all already have in mind. So whether that's just simply like a personal goal of who it is you see yourself as in this next cycle, if it's a job that you want, or a person that you want, or an opportunity that you want, or whatever, I feel like a very tangible form of this opportunity is coming to you, but I'm also seeing this as a co-creation in a sense. So all of the unrest, the dissension, or the unease that you guys may have been feeling up until this last quarter of the year has been preparing you for this specific moment. But it's almost like, and I don't understand what it is I'm being shown right now. It's like, is that the Olympic torch? Okay. Let's go with that. Okay. All right. Whatever. Okay. So if you're familiar with the Olympics, thank you, Scorpio, for making this so wonderful for me. If you're familiar with the Olympics, like before the Olympic games start, there's like this whole like, you know, running of the torch thing, and the torch is passed to all of these different people. But how Spirit is showing it to me, it's almost like, and this is going to sound weird, but stick with that. If you're familiar with how that whole torch thing goes, because it doesn't work like this in real life, but Spirit is showing it to me like as a circle. So it's more or less, if Scorpio was the initial person with the Olympic torch, right? Each person that you've encountered, and whatever, how far back you want to, you know, because I feel like only an individual could know like how long this particular life cycle we're talking about has been, whether it's been just this calendar year or the last 5 years, 10 years, whatever, or up into this major life change or whatever is going on with you guys. But with all of the hard lessons that you guys learned, Spirit is showing me in so many words that Scorpio began with a torch. So it's almost like, even if we looked at this as your whole lifespan, it's like Scorpio having the torch initially is like you and your soul essence knowing what experiences the soul that's in your body needs to have in order to grow and develop and to, you know, fully cultivate itself, or to experience itself, or experience what it knows of itself conceptually, experientially, in so many words. So Scorpio starts with a torch, and they're passing the torch to all these different people, and all the different people who carry the torch up into like the big thing that you have to light. Those are all of the people who hurt you, harmed you, maimed you, screwed over you, didn't see your worth, didn't see your potential, or whatever, right? But the torch started with you. But the thing is not to say you created this or want to throw it on yourself, or you hate yourself so much that you drew all these terrible experiences. That's where it goes back to the justice card of why I was saying there's a need to look back at one's experience through a different perspective, saying this owes me something. There's something I was intended to learn here. So nothing you guys have been through up to this point was for no reason. It was all for a very specific reason, because there's an end goal, which would be lighting the big torch to signify the beginning of the Olympic Games, right? So you pass the torch to each person. Each of those people are lessons. And then at the end of the little, you know, torch passing thing, Scorpio is back as the last person carrying the torch. Now, this is the important thing, because what all these cards in the middle are symbolizing for me, and how this is manifesting into the Knight of Pentacles, because all of this is coming from this Knight of Pentacles card. Isn't this amazing? But how this is working is, it's almost as if Spirit wants Scorpio to get the glory for being the one who's able to light the, I don't know what you call the big Olympic torch, like the really big one that the tiny torch goes to light, right? To signify the beginning of the Olympic Games, which is a big thing that people wait for it to happen. So all of this is symbolic. So the thing is that Spirit wants the attention to be back on you, which goes into our Four of Cups. I hope this is making sense, y'all. Which goes into our Four of Cups, and how I was saying about you guys dumping it out so that you can celebrate in so many ways, because all of this stuff happened. It begins and it ends with you. So, and I know this is going to sound kind of weird, but it's almost like, not to say, because you know how sometimes like you graduate from college or you win a Grammy or something, I don't know, and you're like, if it wasn't for my mom and for my label and, you know, my assistant, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, type of deal. It's like the energy that I'm feeling is the reason why Scorpio is the one who gets to light the big torch is because Spirit wants you guys to be center stage, center of attention, and wants everyone to see that you re-empowered yourself and thus are the one who gets to ignite this new cycle starting, in so many words. So no one else gets to get credit for it. No one who hurt you, no one who whatever. It's the fact that regardless of what it is that you encounter in your life, you get to choose how you respond to that. And because you chose to take the higher road or the higher vibrational path or whatever you want to call it, as opposed to the low road, it's more or less needing to understand and knowing that you will receive the recognition for having done that. And that's why it's so important for you guys to self-forgive is really important. To forgive yourself, to relinquish anything that's holding you back, and to continue this work of releasing yourself from anything that's been limiting you guys up into this particular point in your journey. In so many words, is what I'm seeing here. And as I was saying all of that, I realized that the dice of resonance are on the other side of the room. And I don't want to show y'all my butt. So 1 second, Scorpio. Okay, I'm back. It's so funny. I did a whole checklist. I always say, like, the first reading that I do, I'm always so discombobulated because I got to get in my groove, you know what I'm saying? As an earth sign, you know, starting new things isn't the easiest thing. Well, not an earth sign. I mean, specifically as a Taurus, you know, starting new things is not the easiest thing in America. So my first readings, I'm always discombobulated. I literally had a checklist of everything to bring to this, you know, new setup. And I still didn't do it. And I have on shorts. And like I said, I wanted to be fair and not show you my butt because that would be a little awkward. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm going to throw the dice of resonance. So if you have a yes or no question, go ahead and ask that now, my friend. All right. We have Pisces, Aries, co-worker, boss, question mark. So it could be sun, moon, rising, blah, I can't talk right now. Sun, moon, rising, Venus, or whatever. And the answer to your question is no. So Aries, Pisces, co-worker, boss, no, and sun, moon, rising, Venus, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now we're going to throw the dice that have no name. Wow, it's 444. That's interesting. I'm getting downloads as I'm talking to y'all, and it's very distracting. Of things I need to go act on. This is so fascinating. I'm probably going to forget all of this. Thanks for telling me now, Spirit, in the middle of a reading. You know what I'm saying? All right, we have Sun, we have Sagittarius, and we have the number 1. So, let's see. For Sun, it says Father, masculine principle, the Hermetic principle, the law of polarity. Oh, and that's very relevant to this this 2 of Cups here. You're infinite, self-mastery. Start working. I cannot talk. Start working on strengthening the weak points of your sun sign. So whenever this comes up, I always tell you guys, because off the top of my head, I do not know what weaknesses of Scorpios are. So you could Google them. But if you Google like weaknesses of Scorpio, and that's something that we do in personality and identity development and whatnot in therapy, is, you know, if a person is trying to reinvent themselves or, you know, get in tune with themselves or revamp their life in any way, we look at what's an 8 to the person, and that would be like, you know, your sun sign characteristics. So looking at what those weaknesses are, it's putting time, energy, and effort into strengthening those weaknesses. So I always compare this to INFJ. So it's like if you're an introverted thinker, then extroverted intuition would be something that's kind of out of the realm. Or is it, wait, no, introverted thinking. Okay, that would be extroverted feeling. Okay, so that would be like your weaker way of relating to the world. So it would be taking that and putting time, energy, and effort into cultivating that and strengthening it, because it helps you to become a more well-rounded and whole person in so many ways. But also looking at this in a sense of self-mastery, that's like what I was saying about looking back to the past and kind of changing your perspective on how you're seeing things, because you can even see your growth process on how it is that you responded to things. Because maybe, you know, if I could pull from a stereotype of Scorpio, like revenge, right? Like, say every time somebody crossed one of your boundaries, your first thought was like, you know, I'm going to get you, sucker, you know? And now you've realized, like, wow, they crossed my boundary. I let them know, hey, you crossed my boundary, but I didn't feel the need for sweet, sweet revenge. You know? That means growth, Scorpio. You know what I'm saying? So it's something along the lines of that. Now, for the number 1, we have you guys major arcana to meditate on for the month is the Magician, and I think that's absolutely perfect for where you guys are, because it's pretty much manifesting your own reality, taking the reins back, you know what I'm saying, having dominion. And I think this is actually perfect that it's the Knight of Pentacles that's coming up for this, because I look at Pentacles as all of the elements in action, like ether and air and fire and water, and all of these coming together to manifest earth. So it's more or less you guys stepping into your power and using all of these resources to manifest your next reality. But we have beginnings, we have the first cause, strength, and the first cause is like Big Bang in so many words. Strength and self-reliance, opening and awakening, the self, personal identity, individuality and union. I'm just saying. Unity, 2 sides of one coin. I'm just saying. Masculine, feminine sides, you know what I mean? And balancing the two, and understanding that balance is not a state that we work to achieve and then stay there like a static state. It's a constant adjustment that we're doing every day to maintain our balance. You know what I'm saying, Scorpio? But anyway, that has been your November reading, my friend. Happy birthday and whatnot or whatever. If you want to follow me over to Vimeo, the link is below in the description box and in the comments, maybe if I put it there, but it should be in the description box. But until the next time, my love, I love your freaking face. And I will see you guys sooner than later. You guys are really being put into the driver's seat this month, and it's giving you all the, oh wow, this is really getting deep. So up to this point, it has been the reverse. It's been other people reflecting and projecting their truth, their rules, regulations, boundaries, ways of being onto you. This month is going to be so freaking epic. There's no coming back from this point. I feel with group 1 people, it's like either in a spiritual sense, like your spiritual mission, calling, or purpose, or in a very tangible sense with it being like simply just your career. It's like a seeking of trying to find your place and where it is that you belong. For my group 2 people, it feels very much related to like trauma. Whether it's like past trauma, or, you know, loss of a loved one, or, you know, betrayal, being cheated on, or, you know, literally as far back as like childhood wounds and things of the sort. For group 3 people, it feels more to me about like thought and behavioral patterns.